Hello, welcome to our April live session with Hotel Spider. Today we're going to talk about meta search engines. Google, Trivago, maybe there's some others in the market. How do they work? How can we use them? Let's just talk about this. So for this presentation, we have Alicia with us from Hotel Spider, also known as our
Hi,
Hotel
everyone.
Techie. And we have our true expert when it comes down to meta search engines, who is Suzanne, working from our Berlin office.
Hi, hello, good morning.
For
Good
everybody,
morning.
if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask them, just to write them down in the chat. Alicia, as our tech guy, will take a look and follow up, and we'll try to answer as many as possible if we can. So let's jump into the meta search. What are they? So let's start with a definition. A meta search engine is a website that fetches search results from multiple travel websites and then displays them in an aggregated way to the travelers. Let's start with an example, maybe easier. John would like to spend the night in Berlin, but there are just so many hotels in Berlin. So he's just going to wonder, am I going to search for all of them individually? Or am I going to take a look on each and every travel site that I can find? I mean, there's booking.com, you've got Expedia, you've got Airbnb, HRS, etc., etc. So rather than going on all these, he just decides to use Trivago in this particular case. He enters his search onto the website of Trivago, and in the background, Trivago goes and questions booking, they question Expedia, and all the other guys. What kind of availability do you have across these hotels? Each of these OTAs then answers to Trivago, and Trivago then finally displays all the results from the questions that they've been asked into a nice and easy to use way so that John can easily make his reservation. But that was just an example about Trivago. But there are other of them. So maybe Alicia, you can take us through who are the other players in the meta search industry.
Yes, sure. Let's go have maybe quickly look at this statistic from Europe in terms of meta. It's from 2019, and we see the distribution there. Probably has shifted a little bit. I would guess a little bit towards Google over the past 2 years, but we don't have any more current data on this. But we can see the biggest one is Google Hotel Ads. We have Trivago and TripAdvisor that are really dominant in Europe, and then we have Kayak with a smaller percentage here in the European market. Maybe if we go a little step back and look at one more and the origin of these platforms, we have like we said, we have Trivago Kayak here in this table. We also see Sky Scanner as a meta search, Google Hotel Ads, and Trivago. Google and TripAdvisor with their start in 2000 were the two that started first. We can see Kayak as well as Google and TripAdvisor are American-based companies, and then we have the German-based Trivago as well as the UK-based Skyscanner. And then I want to just draw your attention to the bottom. We see owned by Expedia, Priceline, Ctrip. So there we already know a little bit more about who they work for. And then we see Google and TripAdvisor as being independent and not owned by an OTA. I think this is a very, very interesting little piece of information. So they are, 3 of them are US based. All of them work almost internationally and everywhere. They're very large organizations, and Google is clearly in terms of volume searches dominating the European market.
Okay, so we saw which players exist in the market, but I mean, when John made his query, each of every one of them questioned all the different OTAs. So at the end of the day, they had to display the results in some kind of ordered way. Suzanne, can you tell us a bit more how the meta search engines decide to sort and to filter the results that they fetch from the other players?
Yes, Marco. So The meta search engines, they determine the sort order of the results through bidding algorithms that run in the background. And these algorithms define whether the rate of Booking.com, Expedia, another OTA, or the hotel's website rate is being displayed in the top section of the list. And because the top 3 positions on meta search sites are the ones that get clicked on most frequently, you should, as a hotel, try to get listed in one of those prime spots. But to achieve this is not actually as easy as you might think, because each meta search engine has its own secret ingredient when it comes to how the results are being ranked. So it's quite difficult to understand how their bidding algorithms work and how they are applied. But in our experience, there are some factors or some key factors that affect the positioning of a hotel's direct offer. So first of all, it's about how much money the hotel is willing to pay for either the conversion of a click or the conversion of a reservation, and whether this can compete with what the OTAs are bidding. And we sometimes find hotels whose bid is too low, and so their website rate either doesn't appear on the Meta platform at all, or it shows right on the bottom of the list where nobody will find it. And another factor is rate parity. So a hotel should always try to offer at least the same rates or even lower room rates directly than what's available on the OTAs, because in the end, that's what the booker is looking for on a Meta platform, is looking for the cheapest room rate. The next thing a hotel should make sure is that whatever availabilities they are offering on the OTAs should also be bookable on their own web booking engine. So not to close out or restrict dates for direct reservations only, whilst the OTAs are still bookable. And the last factor I want to mention is the conversion rate of the web booking engine. So obviously meta search engines profit from the amount of bookings that are generated through their site. And so they will place a successful booking engine with a high conversion rate further up the list. And so the goal is to find the right balance between all these tools you have and to make the best, or to get the most out of your meta search campaigns, and without exceeding your marketing budget.
Okay, that's some very, very useful hints for everybody. You mentioned that, I mean, the meta search engines, they also need to earn money through reservations. OTAs work with commission, TDS work with transactions. Elisha, can you tell us a bit how the earning models from the different meta search platforms work?
Yeah, sure. I mean, there is a bunch of different models how meta search engines can make money and do make money. It starts with the cost per click model. So we have a cost per click model that we also know from other types of advertisement, from display advertisement. You're paying per click to be present on the meta search. So for your hotel price to be listed, for your direct booking to be listed, you say to Google, to Trivago, you say, I'm willing to pay 20 cents per click. Whatever click happens that goes out to your booking engine will cost you, and you will have to invest in that without any guarantee of a reservation. This is the basis, and still today, all the bidding logics from all the meta players are still based on this click value, comparing click values between the different players that are there. Then we have seen a move towards other business models, because the pricing model of cost per click needs a lot of attention to detail. You need to have enough time to run your campaigns, to monitor your campaigns, to pay very close attention because you run the risk of advertising and getting traffic that is not at all relevant. With the other click campaigns, if you have an event going on in your city and you're trying to advertise for your hotel rooms, but you just get traffic for people that want to come and see when the event starts, you're still paying for these clicks. So you have to be very careful there. And the same also applies to the meta search engines. The meta search then added basically two new models, cost per acquisition and cost per stay, basically. Both of them are based on the conversion. So cost per acquisition, you do not pay for the click. You say, I'm willing to pay a percentage of the booking to you, Meta platform, and I'm only going to pay that once the booking happens. So here you reduce your risk of, let's say, paying for traffic that is not at all relevant. And then you also have the cost per stay model, where you take it even a step further. It's really only when the guest stayed with you and the guest has paid for his overnight that you're actually getting charged again a commission. So you're reducing the risk to zero for the hotelier. You're getting back to a basic commission model. It's just another player that gets commissions from you. Then if we look at a couple of other methods how you can work with these platforms, because obviously you want to have your prices compared to the prices of the OTAs and your competitors, but you can also just run more classic ads, display ads, or for example, TripAdvisor has their membership program where you pay just to be present. You have monthly and annual fees and sign-up fees to be present, and then you just have, let's say, a better positioning. Again, we have to remember these are advertisement platforms. They're not there there to give away their links. Although Google actually started with that almost a year ago now, probably also motivated through the pandemic and wanting to get a little bit more market share and getting closer to the hoteliers, Google started to offer free booking links. So now if you look on Google hotel search results, you actually have down below, under the paid searches, you actually have free links for anyone that has availabilities and prices online for that property. So these are sort of the different spectrum of offers that the meta search platforms have. And then I think it's really important also to take it a little bit in context, because they are slightly different. Even if you work with a cost per stay model, even if it's a commission model where, let's say, the price that you're paying to the Meta platform, to Google, will get very close to the commission that you're paying to other players in the market, because obviously it's a competitive market. And the more people are interested in your booking, the higher also the value goes up for a bit from a specific platform. But you have to take it also a little bit different and look at it also as part of your long-term direct booking strategy. The first couple of clicks, the first couple of reservations, you might not immediately have a huge advantage and a huge return on investment compared to a booking from an OTA. But on the Meta, the traffic comes to your booking engine. You have the possibility to create the experience that the guest has already during the booking process. You can collect all the guests' details. You can include them in your normal pre-stay marketing. You have him as your guest, and it's not the OTA's guest, where clearly there you're blocked from communicating with him in the same way. Clearly, it's a way to drive traffic to your direct channel. And then again, obviously make the same effort as you do with OTAs to gain more direct booking, communicate with the guest clearly. Again, here, obviously try to push him to next time not go through Meta, not create any cost, but just come directly to your website. I think that's also a very important aspect to keep in mind. We are talking about a third party, so you have still a third party between you and your guest, and obviously always the goal has to be to get rid of that, to have a direct link between you and your guest. But it's just another way, and it gives you the possibility to communicate more with them and be closer to them and get them into your brand experience already during the reservation process. I think that's a very important aspect to keep in mind also when thinking about the pricing and the marketing budget for Meta search platforms.
Yeah, Suzanne, you mentioned in the talk prior to the live session also another aspect where meta search are really interesting as well for hotels.
Yes, so I think another advantage when getting a reservation through your web booking engine is that you have better upselling opportunities. So you can, during the reservation process, advertise or sell additional services that might not be available on the OTAs, such as a dinner reservation in your restaurant or bike rental or spa treatments. So these are also add-ons you can sell and make more money out of the reservation.
Okay, so basically what came out of what Elisha and Yusulan just told is that you need a good booking engine. From the meta search onto the booking engine, and then you get the reservation. But are there any best practices or in regards to the booking engine that are required there, Suzanne?
Yes, so whenever a booker clicks on the hotel's website offer on a meta search page, he gets forwarded to the hotel's own web booking engine, as Alicia already said. And at this point, it's crucial that the booker then finds a well-presented and optimized landing page, which straight away shows the bookable offer for the travel dates, the room type, the rate the booker had already pre-selected on the meta search site. And it's also essential that the booker can find all information he might be looking for on the web booking engine. So you need to make sure that you have appealing room images there, that the room and rate descriptions are clear, that you inform him about the cancellation conditions, just to make sure that as soon as he reaches your web booking engine, he does not need to leave again, and he stays there until the reservation is completed. And it's also important that the booking engine is optimized for mobile devices, because a large amount of traffic from the metas is through mobile search. Yes, so, and at this point, I would also like to mention that in a previous LinkedIn live session, the main topic was about best practice for better conversion on your web booking engine. So I recommend that you watch the video if you want to get more insights or tips on that topic.
Yeah, I think I quickly want to jump in here again to make that point even stronger. Meta search is just another channel. Google, Trivago, TripAdvisor, these are just another channel, another element how you can drive traffic for your hotel, how guests can find you. If you look at the guest journey we talked about before, they don't come directly to your website if they have never stayed with you. So you need to be able to capture them. And again, it's not just that I do meta here and everything else is somewhere else. It's part of your overall direct booking strategy. So like Susanne just said, you have to have the right booking engine. Your website has to be optimized to drive traffic. So if they come back and look at the other details, you have to be present on the OTAs and find a good balance between that. So it's really part of the overall strategy. And then you have to see how I can best work with each of these platforms, because again, there are differences. Like we've seen in our experience, Google prioritizes other things than maybe Trivago prioritizes, and there you have to find the right balance and optimize your profiles, like we talked about in a previous live session. Obviously, this is the same for the meta search engines. You have to optimize your profile. It's not a standalone thing. It has to be part of the bigger picture of your direct booking strategy.
Yeah, as usual, it all comes down to cost of acquisition. A customer which you will never ever be able to reach through a reasonable market spend, acquiring them on a commission based or a cost per stay or cost.
I can't hear you anymore, Marco. I think we're having a tiny little technical issue. Susanne, can you still hear Marco? Is that
No.
me?
I can't.
Okay, something got disconnected. We saw your enthusiastic point you were making, but we couldn't actually hear it. Little technical challenge, cost per acquisition. Now we would cut to commercial break normally. Okay, that's the beauty of live sessions. Marco is gone, so let's move on without him and see if he can come back to the live session. We're talking about cost per acquisition, really crucial point. Like with any platform, you have to see if that works for you. What are the costs? I think Marco is back. Can you say something?
Yes, I am. But
brilliant.
Carry on.
We've got Marco back. Go on. You were making a beautiful point.
Yeah, I don't know what you guys were able to hear regarding the cost of acquisition. Well, getting a first-time customer through OTA, through Meta, through GDS is a good price because you'll never be able to reach most of those customers. If they're coming back from the second, the third, fourth, or even more frequently, if you still have to pay that commission to a OTA, through a meta search channel, or any other acquisition channel that is different than your direct channel, is that you're wasting your money, your marketing money at that point in time. So always think on the long term when you're talking about marketing spend, when to reach the customer, which is a good price to get a hotel reservation in, and when is it just a waste of your marketing money. That is in regards to the hotel. But now if we talk a bit more from a guest perspective, one website to query all of them, to put it a bit in a Lord of the Rings style version, seems like the optimal way for me as a guest to go and search. But does that really mean that there are only positive sides to meta searching?
I think there we touch another topic that we discussed actually last month, which is price parity. I mean, you're pushing down price. If you look at any meta platform, the only and first thing you see is price. And again, you're not comparing all the prices. You don't have a huge amount of, you have one price, the lowest price, and the only lowest price for that day. And obviously that's, you're just pushing price. And I guess for the consumer, if he's aware that he's going to get the absolute cheapest price with as little as possible in there, then it's something positive. You're going to always go spend more on it, but at least you see who's offering me the absolutely lowest price.
But is that absolutely true? Because I mean, we can remember Trivago. They used to make a huge amount of TV ads saying that it was always the best price, always the best price. But there are some countries who actually dug into that that claim and found that they were not necessarily promoting the lowest price. So for the guest, it was not necessarily the best price. So even from a guest perspective, can you just go in blindly and just click on the first price that you see, or do you still need to be a bit wary and look around?
I think that's something about the factors I mentioned earlier. If the hotel isn't bidding enough and all the other OTAs or other channels are bidding more, then it might happen that even though the hotel is offering the lowest rate, their offer still gets hidden on Trivago's page. So it's not even appearing, even though they are offering a better room rate to the guests. So it's always a good idea for the booker not to trust maybe the meta search engines 100%, but also have a look at the hotel's own website and check if there are other offers available.
But I think that comes back to the power of third-party distribution. Like obviously, for me as a consumer, I'm completely ignorant of all of this going on. Me as a hotelier, this is a sales platform for me, so I'm aware of the logic, what happens behind it. I'm aware of the incentives behind the platform. But we have the same as with an OTA. If I, as a consumer, look for a hotel, the first page that pops up when I'm Googling it is the Booking.com page. I go to a page that has the name of the hotel, the images, all the information I want. I'm just going to book there. It's easiest for me. And it comes back to the same. So we as hoteliers are aware of these dynamics. We know what the incentives are for the platform. As a consumer, I'm not aware of this. I don't, and quite frankly, I don't care. We see that I click on the top one, even if it's not the best offer. Just because it's green and bold or red and flashing, I will click on the top offer, independent if it's really necessarily the best for me. And that's just part of the game if you're not distributing directly.
Okay. Let's summarize a bit what we said so far. So a meta search engine is a website which aggregates search results that they fetch from different online travel websites. The biggest players are the Google, we have Trivago, TripAdvisor, Skyscanner, and some of the other ones. The meta search, they also earn money, and it goes through a bidding mechanism where each and every one has their own secret sauce, their own secret ingredient on how to do the sorting. The bidding mechanisms or the financial incentives for these players are either the cost per click, the cost per acquisition, or the cost per stay. Those are the three main charging models that they're having. And the hotel that have their own listing connected to their web booking engine will get traffic through the meta search engine onto their web booking engine. So you need a good web booking engine. Think for meta search on a long-term direct booking strategy. On your first couple of reservations, you will not make any money and it will not be a great return on investment. But think about all these marketing leads that you just acquired. Not only did you just generate a sale, but on top of that, you have the full contact details so you can recontact those guests again and again. Hopefully, you will see them again. As meta search engines tend to advertise with the lowest price, beware and be careful with your pricing strategy. If you're giving different prices to many different players, at the end of the day, meta search platforms are really going to love you because they will go and search for the lowest price and present it. So make sure that you have a coherent pricing strategy where you have online distribution pricing and you have direct booking pricing. Does anybody have any questions or additional comments regarding this brief summary? Susanne, would you like to add? Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, Susanne.
I think it's important for a hotel to understand that you cannot simply set up your campaign and then forget about it. It is really necessary to do regular checks, to do availability and rate checks, to have an eye on the statistical analysis, and just to keep track of the campaign success and also to identify maybe opportunities for improvement. And at the beginning, it might seem time consuming and you might stumble upon intransparent OTA rates or intransparent ranking orders. But once you get the hang of it, it can be a great tool to drive more direct bookings.
I think I want to pick up what Susanne just said there. It takes some time investment. So again, make sure that you work strategically and when it makes sense to work with these platforms, because you have this tail. All of a sudden, also your prices, you're paying much more attention to your prices. We see that with a lot of hoteliers that we have when they start with Meta. All of a sudden, they pay more attention to the prices listed on Meta. and you see the intransparent nature of this market, where all of a sudden there's prices that you have no idea where they come from. All of a sudden, players that you've never heard of offer your hotel rooms, and that's also really forcing you to put a little bit more pressure on the partners, to clean that up, which will again help you, because all of a sudden you're aware of these, I don't want to say fake prices, but very intransparent prices or tricky prices that come from wherever they come from. So that's, be aware of that, and I think that's also a great exercise and will help your direct booking strategy.
Yeah, so as many of you might have heard by now, if you have any specific questions regarding meta search on our site, don't hesitate to contact Suzanne. She knows really a lot about it and is more than happy to help you and to give you some additional tips on that. With that, we're coming to the end of our session. We will be live again next month on Wednesday, the 11th of May. At that point in time, we will be talking about Google Analytics. Throughout the different sessions that we've been doing right now, every time we've been repeating and repeating, measure, 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 track, track, track. So it's time for us to talk a bit more about how to track and what to track, so that your marketing spend, your conversion gives you a nice return on investment. I would really like to thank Suzanne for her time on this session. Elisha, as always, managing the tech and the know-how throughout the company. Are there any last questions from people that we would need to answer?
I don't see any questions online at the moment. No, I don't see any questions.
Okay. Well, then that is the end of the April session of the Hotel Spider Live on LinkedIn, Google, and YouTube and Facebook. And we're looking forward to seeing you next month.
Bye-bye. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Take care.